Also, let me open the code. Yeah, so what we want to do is we are going to have a canvas and a container, and inside this container we would have a top bar, and this bar is going to have two modes. So first one is going to indicate the size of my brush. Okay, and on the other hand we are going to have the color palette. Yeah, and this is going to be our canvas. This is going to be our drawing area. Okay, so this thing, this part, this is I'm going to do this one, and this part is going to be your homework. Okay, so what we want to do is, if I select this size, like if I were to click on this and then draw, I would have, let's say, a thinner brush. If I were to click on this size, I would have a thicker brush, and this size, a more thick brush. And if I were to click on the last one, I should now have the largest brush that we have in our paint application. Okay, and same, we would have the same with the colors as well, but this is going to be your task. If I were to click on this first circle, I want to have the red color. If I were to do here, yellow. If I were to do here, I should have a purple color. Okay, is the problem clear? Okay, great. So let us start. You can call this an intermediate project because this covers a lot of concepts. So paint.html. So let us first draw this structure, because functionality is always applied after creating the structure. So we are going to use Bootstrap for that. Yeah, here's the link. Okay, so let us see if we have the Bootstrap attached. So h1, and we're gonna say, let's say, paint. Yeah, Bootstrap is attached. So we would have a container. Okay, and inside this container we would have two things. We have a top bar and we have this canvas. Okay, so let's add the comment here, top bar and the canvas. So top bar, we have two things aligned side by side. We have the sizes and we have the color palette. So since they are side by side, which class are we going to use? Row. Good. So we can use row. Both of them are taking equal space, so it should be col lg6 and 6. Okay, so again, this side by side, but these ones are going to be always placed side by side. So which class are we going to use? They're always placed side by side, like they're not changing on different screen sizes. Flex. So deflex, and let's say a gap of 2. So inside this we would have 4 divs, and each div has a respective size, so we have to do it manually using CSS. So let's say I'm going to create size, a class of size, and then size dollar multiplied by 4. What is this going to do? Very good. It's going to make 4 classes of size, plus it's going to make another class. What would be that other class?
Size 1, size 2.
Very good. Size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4 sizes. Perfect. Now let's create the color ones as well. So inside the second column we would have again flex, and with a gap of, let's say, 2, And same thing, we would have color class, so we can target all of the colors at once. And then we would have color dollar multiply by 4. For the time being, we are only going to have 4 colors. So perfect, it's aligned perfectly. Let's do the styling. So let's say here's style tag. Let's do internal styling. Let's target all of the sizes at 1. And I think this is the styling we need, or we don't. Let's target all of it. So I'm going to target size, and I'm going to take, yeah, for the time being, let's do this. So we still can't see. Why is that? Because we don't have any border or background applied. So let's apply border and 1 pixel solid and gray maybe. Perfect. But they need to be different in sizes, plus they need to have shadows. So first of all, let's do the margin from top. So mt5, and let's also give shadow to the container. Perfect. Let's do padding to the container. Great. Let's do the shadow on row as well, and padding on row as well. And maybe let's say give a different color, bg body, and then we had tertiary. Yeah, it has a different color now. Perfect. Now let's also change the sizes. So for size 1, we are going to go with 20 pixels. So we just want to change size 2. So let's say 30 pixels, and height also 30 pixels. Yeah, it's a bit bigger than the before. So the first size. Same with the size 3 and size 4. So let's say 40 for the size 4 and 50 for size, sorry, 40 for size 3 and 50 for size 4. Perfect. But now I need to align them side by side. What should I do? They're not aligned. No, on the y-axis.
Oh,
Align items. So who's the parent? He is the parent. So we're gonna say align items is coming from bootstrap center. Now they're perfectly aligned. We are going to do the same thing for the colors as well, but colors are going to have the same sizes, just a different color. So I'm going to copy it down and then change the class from size to color. Perfect. Now we need to change the colors. So AI is going to suggest me, probably it's not. So maybe let's say here it's going to suggest me. It should. Perfect. It is. Color to green, free blue, and perfect. Yeah. Now we need to spread them. What should we do? Inside the main container, that is the parent of both the colors and the sizes, we're going to do
Yeah.
justify content between.
Yeah. Or around.
Why isn't it working?
So could we have used gap to spread them?
We can use gap, but the maximum gap we have is 5, so it's not going to
Oh,
spread
okay.
all the way to the last. Okay, so that's why we're using justify content. But again, they're already spread, they are already justified between, so we need to target this parent, the specific one, for the colors. So this is the parent, here it is. So we can say we want all of these colors to be aligned on the right side of their parent. What's the class we should do? What's the class if we want to align the children on the end of the respective parent?
Me.
Yeah, we can do that, but we have to do for this for each child. We
Oh,
need to align all of these children on the end, so we have to give a class here. If we wanted them to be in the center, we can do justify content center. They're gonna be in the center. But if we want them to be on the end, we can do justify content end.
and
Okay, perfect. But
yeah.
they're not aligned. So what should we do? In the main
Line
parent,
item.
yes, good, we can do align items in the center. Perfect. Let's increase the size maybe a bit. So for the colors we can do 50. Yeah, now they're looking good. Also, let's now draw the canvas. Here's the canvas comment. So we can just do a container with some shadow with a border, and we can do bg body and then tertiary, but we won't see it because there's no height to the container, so we are going to give a manual height to the container. Let's call it canvas. This is our own custom class, so I'm gonna say canvas, and height should be, let's say, 500 px, and we have the canvas, but there's a problem, and that is this padding, not the padding. So they are not aligned, so let me give the margin from top mt5 maybe, or maybe let's say 3. Now we need to align the canvas and the row. Why are they not aligned? Look, this one is spreading more as compared to the container. We need to see why. So why do you think they're spreading the upper, they were spreading more than the yes, maybe that is the case. Let's remove this. No, it's not the case.
Are their sizes different?
Yeah, the size is different. The top bar and the container are not aligned. The top bar has more width as compared to the container. So maybe it's because container has a default padding. So if you were to remove this, nah, it's still same. Or maybe let's say if we were to do mx0, no, why are they not aligned? That's really curious. Let's inspect it. Yeah, the top bar is exceeding from its parent. This is the container. Yeah, the padding is too much for the row. So if I were to remove the padding, no. So why is it not working? Let's say no. This is the case. No. And let's say height, no, height doesn't matter. So what is the problem? Why are they not aligned? Mm, this top bar is exceeding from the parent. Look, this one. Let's see why. Because of the margin. Let's say 0. Yeah, it's a margin. The margin is the culprit. So we need to remove the margin from the row. So here we can do m0, and perfect. Now they're aligned. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to draw on this canvas. Okay. So the designing part is now ready. We want to just draw on the canvas. So first of all, I need you guys to tell me that which elements do we need to work on.
The size.
Very good. The sizes and
The brushes?
Canvas.
the brush. This is the brush. This one is basically the brush. Yeah, the brushes, the sizes, the canvas, and the colors. But this is your task. This isn't mine.
We
So
need to make sure that we can click the colors.
yeah, exactly, yes. So my question is, we have 4 sizes, 4 colors, and 1 canvas. So how many elements do we need to select all together? What is the total number of elements we need to select? We have the 4 sizes, 4 colors, and 1 canvas.
9.
9, exactly. So that is going to create a lot of mess. Yes, if you were to select all 9 of them, it's going to create a mess. So we are not going to do that. We want to select all of these sizes all at once. Now all of these sizes has a same class. And what is that same class that these sizes has?
size,
Size. So what we want to do is I want to select all the sizes at once. How can we do that? Let's say I'm going to say sizes is equals to document dot and then query selector, and then if I were to do dot size here, now what this is going to do is it's only going to get me the first size. Let me console log it and let me show you. Let's say if I were to do sizes, if I were to do query selector, it's only going to get me which one? The
The
first one.
first.
What I need to do is I need to get all of them at once. So how can we
Mm-hmm.
do that? Query selector is used to select one element. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what we need is we're gonna say query selector and then all. So what do you think this query selector all is?
The class name of size, they all are selected like that.
Exactly, good. Query selector all is going to select all of the classes that has the name of size.
Size.
Now if we were to console log it again and see it, we would have what is this?
The four
Yeah,
classes.
but what is this?
The array.
Array, good. So whenever we have a lot of things that are coming from HTML into JavaScript, they are always going to be what can we say, structured in an array. Okay, whenever we
Mm-hmm.
have multiple elements that are coming from HTML into JavaScript, they are going to be aligned in an array. Okay, so we have all of the classes listed inside the sizes, but now we would counter a problem. What we want to do on these sizes? What do we want to do?
Click.
Very good. We want to perform an event of click, but the problem
Yeah.
is this sizes is an array and clicks cannot be performed on the array. We want to perform clicks on the elements of these arrays, like the zeroth index, the first one, second one, and third one. We want
Mm-hmm.
to perform event lists on these elements, but this sizes is the array. So we have discussed something about how can we access each element inside an array. What was that? How do we access each element inside an array?
Like dot size dot
Yeah,
array. Like,
there was
So we
some.
have the
Yeah,
event.
we want to perform an
We have
event.
to attach it to it, like each element.
Yeah, but we need to first get each element. How do we get
Yeah.
each element?
from indexes.
Yeah, we can use indexes, but if we were to use indexes, we had to do like 0 and then 1 and then 2 and then so on. How can we get all of them?
Do we do
uh,
the event listener?
yeah, we
Let
have to
me.
do the event listener, but before that we need to get these elements first out of this array. How do we get these elements outside of these array? How do we get each element? Do you guys remember when we were studying arrays? I created an array of, like, it was like this. I created an array of fruits, and it was apple, mango, and let's say banana and orange. And how did we get all of these elements one by one?
from loops,
Yeah, loops. Good. We need to perform a loop on these sizes and get out each element. But there was some special loop of this array. What was that special loop?
for each,
For each. Good. So what we are going to do is we are going to perform a loop on these sizes, and I'm going to say get me each element outside of these sizes array. So how can we do that? How do you perform loops?
for each,
How? How do I write it?
On the size?
Yeah, on the size. So how can we do that? How do I write it? So I'm going to say sizes and then dot
That
for each. For each is what? It's a
the size,
for each is what? It's a
array
no. It's a
is a function,
element?
it's a
no.
function,
It's a function that is going to take
and parameter
which parameter?
array size.
No. It's a function that is going to take another function as a parameter. Okay, and inside this function we would have two elements, we would have two parameters. The first one you can name it again whatever you want, so I'm going to say, let's say, item, and the second one is going to be index. Do you guys remember something about item and index? We have discussed about this. If you recall, we did discuss about this and in detail we have. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's gonna perform a loop on sizes, and it's gonna get each element and store it inside the first parameter you took. So it's item. So all of the sizes, all of the size divs is stored in the item, and this index is going to store what?
The indexes,
Yeah, the indexes of that specific element.
array,
So if I were to perform, if I were to say console.log item, what do you think I would have? I would have each element. Look, we have size 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have accessed all of these elements and just with one line of code. So we have basically countered writing those 4 lines of code. First get this and then this and then this and then this by just writing this query selector all. Okay, so now on what do we perform an event listener? Like which thing here is holding my elements? Sizes is an array, so I cannot perform add event listener on this array. Which element here, which word here is giving me all of these sizes? It's the item.
items,
Item is holding all the divs. So what we are going to do is we are going to perform event listener on the item. So how can we do that? We can say item dot add event listener, and which event listener do we want to add? It's the click, and whenever we perform click we need to get the, we need to perform a function, and for the time being let's say I'm gonna say alert and let's say test. So let's see if it's working or not. Perfect for the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. Perfect. Now it's working for each element. Now the next target, the next thing we want to do is
So when you check alert, you're checking to see if your event listener is working on the
exactly,
web.
exactly.
Okay.
So console and alert both are just for testing. Okay, whether our event listeners or whether anything is working or not. Okay. Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to check which size am I clicking on. Okay, if I were to click on this one, it should say the size 0 is selected. If I click on this one, uh, it needs to say that I'm clicking on the second one, and then this one should say third one, and this one should say fourth one. Now which thing here is going to tell me which size I'm clicking on?
if condition,
Yeah, but what do we put inside the if condition?
if item is equal to 1, so
No, not item.
the index,
Index. Good. So this index is going to tell me which element I am clicking on. Let's test it out. I'm going to say alert and then index. What should it say? If I were to click on this, what should it say?
0,
0. Good. What about this? Yes. 2 and 3. Perfect. Now since we have everything in place, now we know which element are we clicking on. Now we just need to draw. How can we draw? We did this yesterday. Do you guys remember?
yeah,
So how can we do it?
another event,
Yes, another event for what? For canvas, because we want to draw on canvas. So I'm going to pause this for a moment and add event listener on the canvas. So first I need to get the canvas. So let's say let canvas is equals to document.createElement and then canvas, and then I need to perform event listener on canvas. So canvas dot add event listener of click. So what do we want to do as I move my cursor on the canvas? What do I want to do? No, what I want to do when I move my mouse. What do I want to
Yes.
do?
Yeah.
I need to draw something, yes? And how do we draw something? Like, how do we draw something in HTML? What is this pen going to be exactly? What are we doing as we are moving our mouse? Again, we did this yesterday.
The moving our key.
Not the key. If I were to move my mouse,
Mouse.
if I were to move my mouse, I need to draw something. And what is that trail of line that I'm drawing? What is that? They are basically divs that are being created on my mouse move. Yes? So what we want to do is we want to create divs as my mouse moves. So how can we create divs? And this is not going to be clicked, it's going to be mouse move. So how can we create elements using JavaScript? We did this yesterday again. We did this yesterday.
So you would do create elements.
Very good. So I'm going to say, let's say let line is equals to document dot create element, and which element do we want to create? Div. So that's it. But again, the problem is we need to get this div inside the canvas, not the body. We need to get this div inside the canvas. So how can we do that? It started with an A, and it
Append.
append, yeah. So what we want to do
Append
is we want to append this line into the canvas on every mouse move. So how can we say that?
line dot.
No, you're inverting
Oh,
the statement.
append.
Canvas dot
Dot append child.
append child, and which child do we want to append?
Line.
Line. Perfect. Now you were to see here, we would have line appending to this canvas. Yeah, we have a lot of divs that are being appended. Perfect. Okay, now we can style the line. So let's say line dot style dot, first of all we need to change the position. So position is going to be absolute so that it doesn't disturb anything. Okay, and then we can say line dot style dot width is equals to, let's say for the time being, 20 pixels. Height is also 20 pixels. And background, line dot style dot background is equals to black for the time being. Okay, so what we did, we are creating a line on every mouse move. We are appending that line into the canvas. We are saying the line should have a position of absolute so that it doesn't disturb anything. The line should have a width of 20 pixels, height of 20 pixels, and the background should be black. Perfect. So here you go. It's appending everything. But why do I see only one black box?
Uh,
I want
because
this black box to be where my mouse is being at the moment, where my mouse is. So how can we do
yeah,
that? We want this black
find
box to be where my mouse is.
the coordinates like
Very good. We need to find the coordinates of my mouse.
mm,
So who is going to tell me the coordinates of my mouse?
the key.
E. Good. So where do we put the E? I want to check the coordinates as my mouse moves, as my this event is being performed. So where do
You
I put
can
the E?
E in the parameter.
Very good. E in the parameter. So this E is going to tell me the coordinates of my x and y. So how do I get the coordinates of x and y?
Like let x equal to
Yeah.
E dot client. Yeah,
Let
it's
x
showing
equals to E
E dot
dot and then client
x.
x. Okay, so this is going to get me the x coordinates.
And
Similarly,
sex
I'm going to say
let
let
y
y is equals to E dot client y.
y.
Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to assign these x and y values to the line top and left. Okay, so how can we do that? We are going to say line dot
Dot style
style
dot
dot left is equals to, we need to append the variable and the Wait, we need to append the variable and the px together, like
Yeah,
appending the variable
backtick,
and string together. Yeah,
backticks,
backticks, good. So dollar
back dollar
x and then
uh,
px. Perfect.
px.
This is gonna draw the line where my x-axis is. Why is it not moving on y-axis?
So we didn't apply it on the
Very
y-axis.
good. We need to apply it on the y-axis, so we can say line dot style dot top and y pixels. Perfect. We have the drawing in place. Okay, it's working. Okay, is it working fine? Yeah, it's working perfect. Great. But now what we want to do is we want to change my size as I click on the respective size.
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
we already know which thing we are clicking on by the index. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we already know that. So what we are going to do is, as I click on the respective index, I want this width and height to change. For example, if I am clicking on this first one, the width and height should be 20 pixels. But if I'm clicking on the second one, the width and height should be 30 pixels. If I click on this one, the width and height should be 40 and 50
40.
and so on. Okay, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So how can we do that? Think like a programmer. How can we do that?
Like we apply the if condition
Yeah, good. We can
and
apply if condition.
then
Okay, if,
index is
very
equal
good, index is equals to
0. So
0,
apply 20 pixel and yeah,
50 pixels on what?
on the canvas dot line.
No. Line is only accessible inside these curly braces. This is called a local variable. Like this variable is only accessible in these curly braces. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
access it outside this function. So this is a local variable. So what can we do? I need you to pay close attention. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a variable and I'm going to call it width, and the default size is going to be 20. Similarly, I'm going to take a variable with the value of height and it's also going to be 20. So the default brush size is going to be 20 20. Okay, if
Mm-hmm.
I click on index 0, like this index, I want my width and height to be what?
20.
20. Good. So if I'm saying if the index is 0, the width and height should be 20.
20.
Similarly, I'm going to say else if index is equals to 1. Why I'm putting two equals?
There is an equal condition
Because
like
yes,
that.
we are comparing these two things. So
Mm-hmm.
if an index is equals to 1, it means the user has clicked on this one. So we want the brush size to be 30 pixels. The width variable should be 30 and the height is also going to be 30. Similarly, if we were to do this, if the index is equals to 2, what do
2,
we want? We want
40.
this width and height to be
40.
40. Good. So we want the width and height to be 40. And then we are left with the last condition. Like this is the last brush we need. So what am I going to put?
Else
Else if or else?
Else if.
We only have the last brush size. Like there are no brush sizes after this.
else
So
Else.
else.
Yeah. Because we don't have any more conditions left. So yeah, we
Yeah.
want the brush size to be 50. Perfect. Look, by default it's going to be 20. But if I were to click on this size, it's still 20. Yes? Why is that?
because we
Why is it
set
still
the
20?
value at the 20.
Very good. Because the line still has the width of 20 pixels.
20.
So we need to change this.
Yeah,
We are going to say
we
the
have
width should be equal to
backticks.
this width
Yeah,
variable. Yeah, good. Backticks. Perfect. And then
dollar sign,
dollar
curly
sign,
bracket,
curly braces,
width,
width, and outside
and
the width,
select.
pixels. Similarly, backticks. And
ये
here we're going to
dynamic हो
have
गया.
height and then height
Now
and
it's
then
become a dynamic.
sorry.
It's become a dynamic.
Yeah, now it has become dynamic. Good. Now it has become dynamic, and this is exactly what you have to do with these colors.
Oh, okay.
So let's say default size is 20 pixels. If I were to click on this, we have a bigger brush. Here, more bigger, and here this one is the biggest.
सर ये आप क्लिक करके कर रहे हैं कि सिर्फ मूव कर रहे हैं तो
No,
हो
no,
रहा
no.
है?
I'm just moving my mouse. This is our next problem. Okay. The problem here is it should only work if I click and then move my mouse. But at the moment, what's happening is I'm just moving my mouse. I'm not clicking it. Okay. But in Paint, what do we have? If I move my mouse, nothing is going to work. But if I click and then move my mouse, it's only going to work then.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our next target. So this is also really interesting. So now what we want to do is we need to check whether the user has put down his mouse or not, like the whether the mouse is being clicked or not. If the mouse is being clicked, then if the mouse is clicked and the mouse is being moved, then the drawing should take place. Otherwise, it shouldn't.
Okay.
Does it make any sense? Is the problem okay?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, great. So now how do we check whether the user has clicked the mouse or not? We can do that using an event lister called MouseDown. Okay, there's an event lister called MouseDown that is going to check whether the user has clicked on the mouse or not. Now there's a difference between click and mouse down. Okay, you need to know the difference. Click would mean you're just clicking on it. Mouse down would mean you are clicking on the left click and you are keeping on clicking on the left click, like you're not leaving the mouse. So that is your mouse down event, like you're constantly putting the left click down, you're not leaving it. Okay, so what we are going to do is, again I need you to pay close attention please. So I'm going to say let drawing. So I'm going to take a variable with the name of drawing that is going to be false by default. What would this mean?
Fall मतलब zero or
Yeah,
not true.
that would mean we are not drawing at the moment. By default, you are not going to draw. Only you're going to draw only when you are putting your mouse down and then dragging your mouse. Okay. So when is this drawing variable going to become true? When you are
Mouse
clicking
down,
the
mouse.
mouse down. Good. So we're going to perform an event. Let's say this event should be performed above everything else. It doesn't have to be certain. Okay. So I'm going to say canvas because we are checking the mouse down on the canvas. Where's my canvas? Here. Okay. So I'm going to say canvas dot add event listener, add event listener, and that event listener is going to be of what? Mouse
Mouse
down. So what do we want to do when the mouse is being down? I want this drawing to become
true.
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 Good. So I'm going to say drawing should be equal to true. Now it has to be vice versa as well. If I leave my mouse, what should this drawing become?
False.
False. Good. So let's do that as well. So I'm going to say canvas dot, oh, how do I disable this AI? Wait, let me disable this. It's already disabled. So why is it showing me? Okay, canvas dot add event listener. Which event listener do we need? What's the opposite of mouse down?
Mouse up.
Up.
Very good, mouse up. So I'm going to say mouse up. Like if I leave my mouse, I want my drawing to be disabled. So I'm going to say drawing to become
Or
false. Perfect. Now when do we need all of this functionality?
when mouse up.
When drawing is,
Mouse down.
when
False.
drawing is what?
True.
True. Good. So I'm going to cut all of this functionality and I'm going to put a condition here. I'm going to say if drawing. This would mean I don't have to write true here explicitly, because if drawing would generally means that if drawing is equals to true.
True.
Okay, so I'm going to say if drawing is equals to true, simply do all of the functionality we did
Perform this
before,
also.
and that's it. Look, let it refresh.
Meaning if the user is drawing again, then the functionalities will reappear for them.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Let me first refresh it, because what happened here? Oh, I need to make it go live because I've disabled this extension and then enabled it. So why isn't it loading? Look, is it drawing?
No.
Why is it not drawing? Because the drawing variable is false. But once I put down my mouse and then I drag my mouse, it's working. But if I leave, now it's not.
Mm.
Okay, if I do it again, perfect. Now I can draw whatever shape I want. Let's say I'm going to check this size, then let's say smaller size,
I
and
have a
then
question.
yeah.
So you know how we're drawing within the canvas, but when we go outside of paint, it stops drawing. So is that a different function we need to add ourselves, or it's by default
No, basically what we are doing here is, on which element are we using the mouse move event? We have
on the
added this,
canvas?
yeah, it's only on the canvas. But if you want to draw on all of the body, you can just do this, document dot body dot add event listener. Now event listener is being used on what? Body.
The entire
So
body. Okay.
wherever I'm going to, why is it not working here? So wherever I click I should draw, but I can't because document.body is not being selected properly. Why is that? So document.body.add one, let's say mouse move, perfect, and it should work but it's not.
So currently in canvas, when it leaves the canvas, does the drawing become false?
No, it's not, it doesn't become false because it only becomes false when we leave our mouse. As long as we're
Oh,
clicking,
okay, okay.
okay, it's working on canvas. Why is it not working on the body? Well, let me get the body specifically here. So I'm going to say let body is equals to document.createElement body, and then we can put the event listener on the body. Oh, sorry, it's not body. We have to do what? Window.
Window.
Okay. So look, it's still not working. Why is that? It's only work. Yeah, nice working. It's working now. Yeah. So here you go. Okay.
Okay, I
So
see.
if you,
Yep.
we just want to draw on the canvas, so that's why we said that I want it to be only working on the canvas. So now it only works on the canvas. Okay, you can draw whatever you want. So for the
Okay,
homework,
got it.
you just have to do the colors one. This is already being done, but you have to practice in order to get the concept. Again, I'm going to say this is kind of like, you can call it an intermediate or advanced level of project because it has a lot of concepts here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any
Yeah.
questions about the project?
No, sir.
No.
Any
When
questions
is the
about the
due
homework?
date for the project?
Sorry, what's the due date? It's going to be before your next class. For all of the
Okay.
projects, the yesterday ones and today ones.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions about the homework or about the project?
No.
No.
Okay, then that would be it. Thank you.
Also
Inshallah.
just
Yeah.
really quick, from tomorrow I will be starting my job. So I would like to request if we can start in our old timings, 3:45.
3:45. That is around 12:45 Pakistani time, right?
Yeah, the original time because our summer vacation is over
Okay.
now.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you.
Allah.
Hafiz.